David, how did Green World Recording Studio get, well, plugged in, if you will, to the 2014 Plugged In concert? How did that come about?
Well, that's a good question. I have partnered my studio with Rock and Roll High School about 2 years ago. So as this Plugged In event was in its conception, Steve and I talked about, of course, having the Rock and Roll High School kids play in this event, but also to take it further and bring it out to the community. Because one of the ideas of Rock and Roll High School is not only to build, bands of musicians, but help to bring the music community together. So as part of that event, I work with Rock and Roll High School and the kids in the school, but I also help manage the stage and provide the sound equipment and the musical equipment for the bands, and make sure that from a music production standpoint and stage management production standpoint, that the shows go flawlessly and the kids have everything that they need so they can show up, whether they're in Rock and Roll High School or whether they're coming from Phoenix or Glendale or Peoria or Queen Creek or Apache Junction, wherever they're coming from, they can come and enjoy this event, compete, meet their peers, and get out there and do their thing. I fully hope to be part of it next year. It's a great event.
Okay, now I was at the Plugged In concert. Fortunate to be there. It was an awesome event.
It was a great event.
I noticed during the show, I have several clips. During the show, you had to come out from backstage, and it was a little big stage, so there was a long walk for you every time. I know you burned calories.
That's for
you
sure.
came back and forth. So what is that? Some kind of engineer? What were you there for? Why were you so necessary during the performances, the live performances on stage? Why were you always on stage?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's what I do with stage production. It's fun. We're always the first to leave, or the first to arrive, and the last to leave.
Yes.
So the goal is to, we have 9 bands for that particular show. Sometimes we have more. Sometimes when I do this, we have 13 or 14 bands. The idea is to get all of these bands and all of these kids on stage performing and playing music as quickly as possible with as little interruption. Every time you have a different band come on, you might have it in a different equipment setup. Rather than having 2 electric guitars, you have an acoustic guitar and a piano. For the Plugged In show, we actually had a producer with his laptop and a couple rap artists. So that was completely different than the rock and roll setup. So I have to make sure that everybody has what they need before the show starts, and then as they queue up and get ready to perform, that we can roll out, get the previous band off the stage, get them set up and plugged in, make sure everything works so they can do their thing.
David, you are the man. That is why I'm here today. I could not think of closing up the Plugged In Event Media Press Kit without talking to David Serrell. I really could not. You've impressed me over and over and over again. It's a tune that I love, if I will. Yes, I love that. So I appreciate you. Thank you for taking time to speak with Key Films on behalf of the Plugged In concert,
Absolutely.
representing Green World Studios.